We're glad you joined us for worship today. Whoever you are, whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation or gender identity, you are welcome to worship here and become a part of this community. Are there any announcements this morning? Debbie, you don't have to be here. It's a quiet season. Well, if there are no announcements, then I will turn it over to Reverend Johannah.
We begin worship today with a prayer by Brewed. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you that everything is okay right now, that there is no reason that you must be optimistic or at peace. But our chalice is soon to be lit, and so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker. There is love. There is a love holding us. There is love holding all. Let us rest in this worship.
Please stand if you're willing and able, and join me in reading the words found in our order of service as I light our chalice. Kindling this flame of our liberal work in our chalice, let us open to the presence of the Savior and our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is sacrament, and service is prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. And we're going to light the second candle of the Advent. And you'll find those words in order of service this morning. Our first Sunday of Advent reminded us to be patient. The second Sunday in Advent, we light the flame and hope that darkness will be dispelled. Please join in reading the words. In this holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in this festival of light, and may the darkness of ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and charity. We need to see it. That's one of my favorite songs to sing, so hopefully we can sing again. If it is language that makes us human, one half of language is to listen. Silence can exist without speech, but speech cannot live without silence. Listen to the speech of others. Listen even more to their silence. We now have the opportunity to share our joys and concerns with one another.
Afterwards. It's a joy that she celebrated long and her life when she was 93.
Like this candle shines for her.
My eldest brother Brian, battling cancer, has for some reason opted not to pursue chemotherapy. What that means that's the end. For my brother Brian.
Candle shines for your brother. For his I'll light one candle for everyone who needs extra love and strength to get through a holiday season.
Candle of joy. So just finished my 10th, 11th year book member, and it's to raise, thanks to the generosity of friends and family, more than $1,000 again. And my mustache.
We didn't get to see the progression quite the same way this year.
Blessings, right?
I'll light one last candle for all those joys and concerns held deeply within our hearts.
As we hold all the joys and sorrows, concerns, said and unsaid, let us take a moment for prayer and meditation. All what we share is sacred, a poem by Andrea Moore. Invite you to take a deep breath, and a word. As we gather together, may we remember, when you share with me what is most important to you, that is where listening begins. When I show you what I hear, when I say your life matters, that is where compassion begins. When I open the door to greet you, that is where hospitality begins. When I venture out to bring you to shelter, that is where love begins. When I risk my comfort to ease your suffering, when I act against hatred, violence, and injustice, that is where courage begins. When we experience the full presence of each other because of shared humanity, because of our differences, that is where holy gratitude begins. May this space be a table that is not complete until all are welcome. May this table be a space of beauty where together we create a series of miracles, where all that we share is sacred. May you take a moment of silence to be amongst each other, in prayer, in all that is sacred, all that is miracle. May it be so.
We will now take an offering that allows us to exercise the all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gifts of the congregation will be most gratefully received. Please stand as your willing people and join me in reading the words found in the order of service. Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. O light our hearts the sacred hour, in faith and hope and charity. Amen.
We begin with the poem Good Bones by Maggie Smith. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there's a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there's one who would break you. Though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking me through a real horror show, church song about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. The other day, I was visiting with a patient who was in and out of the hospital. When I came in and introduced myself as a chaplain, I asked her if there was anything spiritual care could do for her. She smiled slightly and noted that she was looking for help and not being sick anymore. I let my shoulders drop and nodded. I wish I could help with that. She then beckoned for me to sit down. After much of my awkward shuffling and rearranging of all that it is to obtain a free chair in a hospital room, she asked me, "Do you often talk to patients who are afraid of dying?" "I do," I said, "all the time." And then I asked, Are you afraid of dying?" She looked at me with some tiredness and said, "No." She proceeded to tell me that she wasn't scared as she knew she would get to go to paradise. What her Muslim faith refers to as Jannah, the garden, described in the Quran as a land Allah had promised to believers, men and women, gardens under which rivers flow to dwell therein, and beautiful mansions and gardens of everlasting bliss. I asked this patient what this paradise looked like to her, and she said she didn't know, and that didn't bother her. She told me that she felt its beauty. She felt its richness, even if she couldn't quite pinpoint what it looked like. So often what we believe as an afterlife is a great comfort, a part of a good ending. For many, an afterlife, a paradise is a new beginning. When I listened to this patient, I heard more beginning than end of her talk of the life thereafter. This made me wonder about good endings, about crafting good, hopeful endings, even when we don't know what is coming, even when we don't quite have the energy, the belief, or even the theology to know, to believe that there is something else. In the season of gratitude, the solstice coming up and another year ending, let us with hope in our hearts ask, how do we craft a good ending in the face of a great unknown? In an article about how we assign words and how this connects to life in its current state, the writer Lulu Miller talks about the unknown of this particular moment. She writes, "She's flexing her wings this year, the unknown. She's showboating around. She's waving from the horizon in a coat of flames. She's lingering on metal surfaces. There's the same amount of her, there always is, of course, but she is making herself felt. Her presence can be seen in the whittling down of our teeth, the spikes and suicides, the surge of demand for therapists. Uncertainty, it has been shown, is more painful sometimes than certain physical pain. For some reason, the neurologists say we are wired to fear the unknown. There's that thumbnail-sized soldier in the brain they explain, who they've named the locus coeruleus, who's charged with tracking uncertainty. Miller goes on to say that he's used it for a bit. They say when faced with uncertainty, he puts the brain into a fluid state so it can better run through strategies to keep you safe. But when the uncertainty won't let up, that fluid state starts to wear on the body. Such extended vigilance leads to exhaustion, to a miserable increase in stress. She goes on to say, to articulate, what if that fear only starts with the advent of words, with the false belief that a named thing is a known thing? Perhaps it is our words that transform that hulking unknown from friend to foe. I don't know what I think about this. Maybe it is important to think about the fear of the unknown, what causes that. Whether it be the advent of words or things in our brain that track uncertainty. Not only is the unknown scary, but it is scary when we can't see the beginning and the end. And sometimes we can't. My patient could. Her theology matched up with her belief that she sees, or more importantly, feels and believes in a paradise after she leaves this earth. Gardens that surpass all beauty and waiting. But not all of us believe this. Some of us just see an end. What do we do in moments where all we are left holding is this end? While the house next to mine caught on fire, no one in the end was hurt, and though the house suffered damage, nothing else, and no other houses ended up catching fire. Before we knew the house had suffered damage, my housemates and I were in the house next door, watching flames light up the neighbor's porch. We panicked. Or to be more precise, a few of us panicked, while another of us didn't actually notice the flames. And I did not panic as I was fast asleep after it happened to sit. It didn't take long, though, for word and panic to spread, and soon we're all outside. Thinking about what we had left inside, and grateful as 3 fire trucks filled our streets and quickly seemed to gain control over the blazes next door. Thankfully, our house didn't catch fire at all, and we soon trundled back inside, repositioning passports for grabbing next time, thinking about what could have burned. And for some of us, primarily me, were wondering why in that moment of panic I chose to stuff many wooden hippos in my pockets and didn't think about putting on a sweatshirt or even grabbing my wallet. In this moment, I thought, what could have happened if no one had been home? What if our house had caught on fire? And what if I had been sleeping with no one else in the house? What if I had died? I on occasion play out a dramatic scene in which in some scenario I'm being asked if I would mind dying in this moment. In this imagined moment, I look forward with great intention and say in a most dramatic and tear-jerker voice, I don't mind. I have loved and been loved, and I have left so much love legacy. Even though I say this somewhat mocking myself, I do actually believe it. I believe that my love will outlast me. I believe that by loving, by actively loving, I am creating a love legacy that persists even in the face of an ending with possibly no beginning, an ending in the face of despair. I believe that we all have love legacies to create, to craft, and act on, and I believe these will outlast us, even if the earth becomes no longer inhabitable, even if she decides that our time is time for another ice age, beginning a fresh start. And the certainty that there may not be a paradise waiting for me, our earth as we know it may not survive, but I feel certain that my love will. I know this because I've already felt my love's persistence to survive. I felt this whenever I go abroad and family around me gets anxious. And I feel my grandfather's presence, even though he died a long time ago. I feel his presence staying calm and just saying, I wish I could go. I wish I could go with you, and I'm so proud of your life. I feel this love surviving every time I'm with a patient who has just died, and their family are gathered around, tearfully telling stories of this patient's life. The family is smiling, and you can feel that love radiate off that patient, even though they have died, even though they're no longer with us and can no longer tell or show us their love. I feel love's ability to survive when I'm at a protest and an elderly woman says, I am still fighting. I am still fighting for my ancestors, for my children. I actually feel and know love's ability to survive quite a bit. Is it always coupled with hope? No. Is it often coupled with grief, with sadness, with anxiety? Often yes, but love survives. Love has survived. I know this to be true even in times where hope feels uncoupled from love. I can always pinpoint a tiny breath of hope in that capacity, in that new beginning that love, no matter what, so strongly promises. I imagine these love legacies as balls of collected light, surviving and floating amongst the stars in our galaxy, floating as these odd collections of different colored light that are waiting, moving towards human life that perhaps exists in another galaxy. We're just waiting till that ice melts and green starts to pop up again on the ground of the earth that we so love and yet have so badly mistreated. Regardless of any impending end, all of our lives will eventually end, and we will experience many endings. Even in the face of many inevitable ends, I believe we have great capacity to make many good endings. I invite you now in your seat to think about your love legacies. Our love legacies, of course, do not exist in a vacuum. They exist in relationship. Let us think of and take a moment to recall the love legacies and a reminder that this is work we have already started, and I hope you'll compelled to finish. I invite you to take a moment, perhaps close your eyes, take a breath, allowing your breath to flow through your body from tip to top, making note of those love legacies. Thinking about the love legacy that you're most proud of in this moment. This could range from this morning, I told my partner that I love them, to last week, I decided to act on my love for the earth and get more involved in climate justice. Maybe you make love legacies in the form of cooking for people who know to receive a pot roast from you is love. Maybe it is just as the poem we read at the beginning describes. Maybe you are a really good realtor, that you talk up the bones of this house we live in, loving someone something enough to believe that they can make it. I want to bless this space with the love legacies we have begun, the ones we birthed to being, the ones that need help, the ones that we take on collectively. Bless these ones that have begun and have yet to begin. Bless them with hope when hope is not there. Bless their survival, bless their beauty, their ugliness. Bless all the things that make them able to survive in a difficult world. Bless the beginnings of love that are hard to pinpoint, that are hard to see. Bless the love legacies that will survive us no matter what. In an article by the writer Carva Walls entitled, Maybe We Can Begin, he writes about hosting a salon during the pandemic, where they talked about and answered questions on love. He writes, this moment remains as unclear as ever. And yet, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how nothing at all was answered on that night? But for a few hours, Some people I love were genuinely looking into one another's eyes, meeting each other, hearing each other, knowing each other, falling in love with one another in the same precise way I had fallen in love with them. Isn't it weird that for those hours of pointless talking, everything made perfect sense? He continues with, I will never know what is going to happen. Maybe the best I can hope for is that for a few brief moments, I will know what I'm going to do next and with whom I might do it. Maybe that will be enough. Maybe that is all I ever need to know. Maybe love is the only real thing. Maybe we are screwed and maybe we can begin. I don't know if we're approaching an ending or not, or who here is approaching an ending from the events that have taken place in our world. But I do know that love maybe is not the only real thing, but I do know it as a real thing. I suspect that is not the only real thing, and that coupled with love is grief, is often loss, and these are real things too, and perhaps even part of the same beast as love. Pieces that may also float around the universe, gently coupled with love in the stars of our great galaxies. Our future is uncertain, and it has always been this way. Be it the death of our world or the death of a loved one, an ending of another sort, the future is easier if we have something we can be certain about. As Unitarian Universalists, there are many things we are not certain about, but we are certain about the transformative power of love, and we have the capacity to live our lives dedicated to perpetuating legacies of love. We grieve because we love, we grieve ourselves, our people, our world, because we love them all so much. While our life may be finite, we live on, even when we don't, in a million trillion love legacies that dwell amongst us, giving us the hope we need to make this place here beautiful. We may never be able to find a true certainty in all of our endings, but I think there can be a lasting love, and I know we have the capacity to make that certain. The unknown may be flexing her muscles, but we have muscles too. Muscles of hope, muscles of a commitment to our environment, our earth, our communities, to our love legacies. Deepa Phillips, in a poem on a remedial dementia survival plan, tells us, light your candles, practice your skills, order your medicines, pack your bag, put a little cash aside, save some seeds, increase your stamina, memorize folks' numbers, call upon your history, learn and share, return to your library, live your practice, parent your babies, pray your hardest, make your art, soak in music, document your stories, run yourself salt baths, dance until sweaty, let your tears flow, be soft with yourself. Wash yourself in seawater, walk amidst grandmother trees, root yourself there. Call your family, gather your team, lean on your ancestors, do your work now. Do your work now. Let us all do this work now, with all the love we have, knowing that your love legacy, our love legacy, has already begun and never has to end. Blessed be. May we all feel the love legacy that is right here amongst us. May it fill, surround, and hold us, pushing out any suffering, any doubt, and instead filling us with grace and strength, and whatever else we may need to keep going and to keep crafting love legacies with hope and with all.
You behaving? Oh, I find that hard to believe.